I am speaking to Hasna today. She is the founder of Save Your Wardrobe. And in 2023, she was awarded the Grand Prize at LVMH Awards. And I think this is probably the most prestigious award in the fashion tech space. So it's a huge, huge accomplishment. So I'm very excited. Welcome, Hasna.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to almost like timestamp what has happened, you know, from that day to now,
Yeah.
and basically going from incubation to global impact, which is literally what you've done in the meantime. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Horia. Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing to meet again after all these years.
So let's go to the early beginnings.
Yes.
I really want to hear more about this, the anecdote of your grandma, and
Sure.
what exactly sparked the idea.
No, definitely. So my grandmother and my whole family actually, we come from an island in the south called Jerba that is a little bit isolated from the main country. So like all islanders, we needed to make do with all the resources that are available. And my family in particular had this kind of sponsorship of local craftsmanship. And so she was, this grandmother in particular, she was a patron of art of crafts, whether it's textiles or furnitures. And so she was supporting her local community through what we call in France mécénat, so commissioning works. But I remember her teaching us the ways and the source of things and where they came from. So I was very early on initiated to the concept of supply chain, local supply chains. And I understood as well the beauty of making things and the love that you weave in each garment or each product. And I remember very, very well the gathering, the ceremonies associated to those events, and there were daily events. It wasn't like an exception or part of a particular ceremony. It was just, for example, it was that time of the year where we needed to look at reupholstering exactly, and so that I was seeing all these people gathering at home, all with their personal expertise, and there was always this joy and happiness surrounded to it, and so that lingered in me, and that's something that I cherished, and I feel like where my grandmother and my mother and my aunts or uncles have all their lifestyle is meant to foster those practices. Our lifestyle may not not be the case. So I find like technology could be a great catalyst to bring back those ways of living, supporting local craftspeople, making sure that any product that we consume lasts forever for multiple generations, and there is in each piece of a product or object that we have in our life some fragments of love and fragments of meaning associated to it. And so this is what I really wanted to infuse in Save Your Wardrobe.
And so at which point did this influence, passion, appreciation turn into the business idea? And I really want to know, like, what went through your mind when you decided to take that leap of faith in a way?
Actually, nothing came to mind, and that's maybe why I decided to jump in. I think any entrepreneur looking back at their beginnings would think twice before going. So much hard work, sleepless nights, tears, sweat. So what happened in my mind? Probably nothing. But I'm really passionate about this. And just before launching Save Your Wardrobe, I worked a lot into understanding supply chains. And what I felt was supply chains were were becoming more volatile, and their influence on the businesses and on running a business that is based on production was more and more bring the business a little bit more vulnerable each year.
Yeah, there was a risk element associated
and there's a lot of dependencies in globalized supply chains, fragmented, where the control is not anymore within the hands of the brand, but on that supply chain. And so I felt like in the future the solution would be looking at after sales and what happens post-purchase, post-transaction. So everybody at that time were focused, obsessed by selling more and market items and products and objects, and less about understanding the relationship between their customers and the things that they have at home and why they were buying them. And so there was this growing blind spot that nobody was tapping into or looking into, and I felt, let me spend some time studying it and understand what are the implications of looking at the post-purchase journey of a customer experience, but also of a product, and see how this can make the brands less vulnerable to any economical or global shock that impacts their supply chain. And that's how Save Your Wardrobe started. At the beginning, it was really a business-to-business solution. But then the more I discussed with brands, the more I understood that they might not adopt it unless there was a marketing pull and the market were requesting these solutions. And so that's when we decided to switch to an app for people to download, to upload their wardrobe, to request services, for us also to understand how they were interacting with the things that they have.
To create like that emotional connection with the consumer, for you with the consumer, but the consumer with the brand and vice versa.
And what we've realized very early on is the users of our app considered us as a moderator between them and the brands they loved. And they were requesting more and more involvement from the brands post-purchase than what they were having.
Receiving on the baseline service of the brand. Okay.
Exactly. And it was right at when COVID and lockdown happened.
Exactly.
So it was even more relevant because brands were not able to sell anymore, and there were a disconnect between them and their client. And so we were fitting right in.
Yeah, so through you they could foster that relationship even when there isn't a transaction happening.
Exactly. And so
so COVID was a good thing for you.
COVID was a blessing in disguise for us. It challenged us as a business, of course, but I think it's those challenges where you think creatively about solution, and startups are a matter of survival. Every day is about survival. So for us, it was testing our ability to respond to and solve a pain point. And we realized that not only were the consumer part was much more vocal than before, and the brands were listening because they were
willing.
They were listening because they were a bit lost in this new space where their production and supply, they weren't able to ship it, they weren't able to sell it, and so there was this new playground.
The perfect ecosystem for you, actually, to plug in
chaos.
Amidst the chaos, you were there providing the perfect connector.
Exactly. And so that's how we've decided to look at the industry, and also to foster a new way of having a relationship with them.
Yeah, I definitely want to go back to this, like the business, the different iterations. But first, how is it having your husband as a co-founder?
Yes.
And I mean, amidst the chaos of everything that was happening in the world, being at home, working together, how was that? And how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance?
That's a very good question, and on top of it, I have 2 children, which I'm so blessed to have. But the first reason for startup to fail is when founders don't get along.
That's true.
And so we had this bond, and
Yeah.
that we couldn't.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had my mother on the back saying, "Are you sure you want to work with your husband?" She didn't want me to risk any any sort of disagreement. But I think what happened as well is during COVID we were all in the same house, and we were facing a big challenge, an unknown challenge,
Yeah.
actually. And unlike other startups where each founder were separate, we were there and we were like immersed in solving that. And I think working with my husband, we are complementary. He has a digital background. He's been a CTO in several startups before even meeting with me. He used to be, at that time, a digital director at Barclays, so he understood really well the digital component.
Yeah.
And on my side, my background is in economics and more of the business side. So we were quite complementary, and we will respect each other in that part, and we trust each other.
It's almost like there was a certain emotional intelligence related to the startup and entrepreneurial way of having to do things.
Exactly,
yeah.
And what I also remember is at times we were, especially early on, he would manage the tech team and I would manage the partnership and strategy team. So we weren't even meeting or seeing each other as often as any...
as you would imagine.
Yeah, I would, exactly, as
Yeah.
you would imagine when you run a business. And I think that's what made it a viable business. But we had a lot of skeptical people telling us, no, you shouldn't disclose that, you should keep it to yourself. But I feel like these people didn't also see the vision behind what we were building. And yeah, so I feel like it was a natural thing to do.
Yeah.
And he joined me when I raised our first round. And he's been supportive even in the beginning, because I wasn't sure I wanted to launch the business. It was a scary thing to do, just going from an employee to a founder.
Yeah.
And he encouraged me, and without his encouragement, I would probably would have never launched CV Wardrobe.
I love that.
Yeah.
A supportive husband
Super
that then
husband.
joins his wife's venture.
Exactly.
That's such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
I didn't know this detail.
Yeah.
It's
and
a huge...
also, whenever I needed to travel, he would step in to take care of the kids. Even with a big injury, he would let me go. And so yeah, he's an incredible supporter and big believer.
That's so important. And actually, on this point about being a big believer, I also wanted to ask, who were your early supporters, whether it was investors or new team members or mentors, like who else was there? Who was part of that support system in the early days?
Matthew Drinkwater from the Fashion Innovation Agency was the very, very first one. Of course, yeah, my sister, one of my sisters, she was like, please succeed, please just do something with you, something that will make you happy. But after her, Matthew Drinkwater was the first expert I met. So I built the idea and I had something in mind, but I've never thought I would go and implement it or execute it. I remember that there was a dinner organized where Matthew was the expert invited, and Mahdi, my husband, said, okay, Hasna, you've been working on this project. It's time for you to test it and pitch it to somebody that knows the space. And so I remember being very anxious about it. It was also the first time ever I was leaving my son to somebody to watch him. So there was a lot happening in that night.
A lot of emotions, a lot of pressure.
Exactly. And then it was very first time I pitched the idea to strangers that are not my family, sisters.
And to such a high profile,
and to such a high profile, exactly. And
baptism of fire.
Exactly. And so I shared the idea a little bit more and gather his interest. And he was very, he offered a follow-up meeting. And so I went from this napkin idea that I've cooked at home to going to his offices to present to his team, and also to get him to invite us to be part of our first ever incubator. And so yeah, it was a big deal for me, and it's still a big deal to have his support and validation. And then the other supporters were investors. This is also a very important part and component to startups, to have people around you that invests in you rather than in your business, because the trust factor is extremely important. They trust you with their money, they trust you in your vision, but they know that you will have the business survive whatever it takes.
Yeah, because of you.
Because of you, exactly. And I think with all the challenges we've went through since we started, knowing when to pivot and when to focus on something in particular is what builds that trust. And so our investors, our early investors, are much appreciated, and they understand the business, how it needs to evolve, and where it needs to evolve in order to unlock a larger market.
Yeah. And I will get into the pivots again, because I think it's I mean, every founder will have gone through those moments where you have some assumptions, and then you have to go back to the drawing board. But before we do that, I want to talk about your personal style, because as you said, these people, they saw you, they understood you, they believed in you. And something that we spoke about last time was how you are, not only you're okay, but you're happy, and you think a big component of your success has been this willingness to go against the stream, and you also describe it as a process of patience. Tell me more about that.
I think the first thing when you are an entrepreneur is seeing things ahead, and not being frustrated if they don't realize or materialize soon. But also identifying the ways and the detours you need to take in order to achieve that. And going against the stream or being creative is what takes you to think outside of the box, or not to see the things the same way as the others, and then bring an innovative solution to the table. Patience is one of the biggest component to it, and even if it's a context of going fast and failing fast, you have also to know when to put full steam on, or when to save your energy and extend your runway. So,
and are you naturally a patient person?
I am all but patient. But I've learned to be patient.
You have to, as a founder.
And I've learned as well that it's a people business, and you can't rush people into adhering to your vision.
That's so true.
Yeah, and you have to hold their hands and show them step by step the way things will progress. And sometimes you identify as well people who get it straight away, and then it's a safe space to share more about how you view things and the future as well.
You really have to assess your audience.
That's where empathy is extremely important. Knowing when somebody can understand quickly, or they need a little bit more time. And so you have to juggle a little bit and keep your frustration to yourself.
And it also doesn't mean that there's less value in someone who doesn't understand it early on. It's just you really need to let that simmer, right?
Yeah, not only let that simmer, but also understand that what are their personal objectives or career objectives that will influence how fast or how slow you can go with that person, or what are the arguments that you can present in order to move to the next step with them. And yeah, that's where patience, empathy, looking ahead as well helps actually building the pavement or the pathway to rallying those stakeholders. I'm thinking about a lot of people that have also KPIs to meet, even though they are completely online and on board with your vision and the way you are executing. They also have to prove other things first. And once you know a little bit more about what motivates the people in front of you, then you can
approach it from that angle.
Approach them from that angle, do a detour, leave it simmer for a minute, and come back. It doesn't mean that. There's actually an African proverb I love. It says, "Going slowly doesn't prevent you from reaching your goal." So avancer doucement n'empêche pas d'arriver. And I feel like sometimes you need to hurry on developing new things and on research and development to be the first and to protect a patent or protect an IP. But then for other parts, you have to be considerate of the other stakeholders around you.
So what was the initial problem that you were trying to solve? And what exactly did you see as the need in the market at the time?
I think, the first problem was overconsumption. And so how people were buying things mindlessly. And on itself, it's not a problem, but the way the products are disposed of is unhealthy, unsustainable, and it has global ramifications, especially in the global south. And it was very close to me because I come from Tunisia, and I could see those products being burned or landfilled, and it's a tiny country. They cannot take that much product. And so that's on a personal level. And then it's brands that I care about because I love their stories and I love what they carry as values. And I was genuinely looking to find a solution for them to carry on and be less vulnerable to the systems that they were building, unknowingly that they would be their Achilles heel. And then the way I solved the problem changed, and we grow with it, and the business gets stronger by pivoting, gets stronger as well by meeting all the people. But it took me a while in order to present a coherent solution like
and
we have
to bring
today.
them on board with the vision. And it's one thing to bring people on board with the vision. It's another thing to get them to invest in it.
Exactly, and time or even mind space. And something I've learned as well is it's not because they don't understand it today that they won't understand it tomorrow.
So which means you have to keep trying. You have to be patient and not take things personally as well. The same person who might have told you 2 years ago, I don't know, I don't believe in this, 3 years or 2 years later might be reaching out to you and be like, let's talk.
That keeps happening. So
all the time.
Just not taking it personally is very, very important for your own health as well, mental health.
For sure.
You have to dissociate the business and the success of it. And this is not something I knew right away. It took me
you learned the hard way.
The first year to understand that it's not me, it's multiple things.
It's the process.
It's the process, exactly. The market, sometimes we are too early and we have to also be patient, and maybe there is a step before. So you have to build your own space as well.
And at the beginning you did feel that you were a bit early for the market.
Oh yes, for sure. I still feel like we are too early, and so we have to pace ourselves.
But at the same time it positions you at an advantage.
Yes, because it positions us at advantage, but we have also to be mindful of our resources, not to burn too fast.
Yeah, you need to really pace yourself.
Exactly, because resources are very limited in any kind of venture, and we will be judged by how we manage those resources and how long we can keep the business afloat without burning everything.
Yeah. From an investor's perspective, but also practically from the reality of managing a business as a founder.
The second killer of startups, apart from founders not getting along, is cash flow.
Cash flow, yeah.
The moment you don't have cash
The
anymore,
fuel.
well,
exactly. It's off, it's out, that's it.
Yeah. Once it's out, it's out. Yeah.
So what was maybe one of the biggest obstacles or challenges or moments where you really had to redefine something that you had planned and really take a huge, big pivot?
The first pivot ever was from the B2B to the B2C.
Mm-hmm. So that happened early on?
That happened really early on. We only had a deck, of course. It was just me, not even Irene, who was our first intern. And it was a bit frustrating because I knew that the brands and people I was speaking to understood where I want to go, but I think their hands were tied with their leadership, and so we had to find another way. So that was the first big problem.
But this one didn't come with like a great loss or cost, right?
Just
so it's
loss
very
of
early
time.
Yeah, which is very precious,
it is precious
for a mother of two and a founder.
Not that precious at the time, but still, it was. I think it's going slow is not a problem when you are early on.
Yeah,
and I think that's what saved us, because we took the time to understand the market. We didn't burn our money in marketing to let people know, look at us, we exist, and we are here to help. Yeah. We went to those accelerators and we had conversation. All we had was time. And we didn't have money, we just had time and the opportunity to meet great people and to listen to their feedbacks. Yeah. So we had this early, very privileged view.
Yeah, because I was going to say, how did you get into that ecosystem so early on? Because I remember you were very involved with many accelerators, incubators.
We were everywhere.
Yeah.
We were trying to be at all panels. Every time there was interesting speakers, we would go and try to get a time with them. We were applying to a lot of incubator accelerators. We were trying to have people hear about us without spending too much money.
That's such good advice for founders. I think so many founders can get a bit stuck behind the scenes in their room in front of their laptop, coming up with all the assumptions of the world.
Get out of the building.
Actually, no, get out, try to speak to the right people at no matter what it takes.
And people are very open to hear about ideas and give like 5, 10 or 30, even 30 minutes. Yeah. And usually those people will remember you when the
right time comes.
Exactly, when the right time comes, or when the subject is on their table. Yeah. So for us it was one of the best investment to take it slow and to talk to everybody, even if we felt like they weren't hearing or understanding what we were building. Yeah. It was helping us in understanding what is in the short term happening and what were their priorities. Yeah. So once these priorities were solved on their end, what would be the next step? Yeah. And so that's how we went about it in the very early on, and then. Things were triggered somehow when we joined Farfetch, the Farfetch Dream Assembly incubator, because we had practical use cases to discuss with them. It wasn't just, it was still a deck, to be honest, but we entered the phase where we were talking to a company that had all the resources we needed to test and challenge our business. Yeah. And so we were going from listening to the market, challenging the business, and then building a strategy and having the mentors and also the advisors to help us get to it.
Yeah.
And that was also something that saved us from making mistakes or making costly mistakes.
Yeah, and as you say, that's such a privileged position to be in because you're literally sensing, catching the temperature from all sides.
Yes.
But again, it just goes to show how your effort to put yourself out there is what got you to that position in the first place.
I think so. Plus the support of and patience of our investors. We'll see where that takes, where all of this takes us. It's still early stage.
It's still early stages because I was thinking...
It's always early stage.
Yeah, but it really is in a way, because by the time you got the awards, which is in 2023, it was technically just 5 years.
Not even actually, because we had, yes, it was 5 years
just
since
about,
we were talking to people, but it was 1 year after we pivoted back to B2B.
Okay.
So end of 2021, beginning of 2022, we launched with Zalando, a white label platform for care and repair. And our bet to start with the app got us, wow, just thinking back, where when we launched the B2C app, we were thinking, okay, it's not ready, it's just a first draft. And so I've pressed the button just so that the waiting list gets a notification, please download our app. And the next day, we were app of the day on the Apple Store, and we were in like 158 countries. And so it was unbelievable.
And this was organic.
Organic. We didn't do anything apart from pressing the button.
Yeah.
And that's all actually.
But you had built a good wait list.
What we did was we had a very tiny wait list.
Really?
It was people that we didn't know that downloaded the app.
Okay.
But Apple looked at us very early on as well. And when the app was live, they don't tell you that they will put it app of the day or featured or whatever, and that helped the growth. So completely organically, they loved the concept, and they were extremely supportive in helping us understand what are the best practices when we build an app, and what are the expectations from the market, from the users, and how to grow it as well. But the first few months, it was completely organic. Yeah.
I just realized we never actually explained what you're doing as a business. We got so carried away with the story. It often happens. Maybe we can explain a little bit about what you're doing now.
So now what we are is an after-sales platform that supports brands in offering added value services to their customers after purchase. So just to make it very simple, we support brands in helping you solve any wardrobe malfunction. This is the easiest way to explain it, through tech.
Yes. And then on the consumer side?
On the consumer side, on the app, it's practically the same, but this time around, the brand isn't involved. So it's up to the consumer to do it by themselves.
And when you're working with brands, you're essentially working with their teams for okay. And when you're working with the consumer directly, does it go to any specialist, or you send it back still the brand specialist?
Brand specialist or a local specialist that is the best in able to solve or fix the problem.
Okay, so now that we've clarified exactly what you're doing, I really want to go back to the moment that you were given this award, because it's a huge distinction. And I think it was out of 1,300 startups overall, which is huge. And you got the the grand prize, the main award, and then you also got the omni-channel
Yes, exactly.
solutions for
And excellence,
retail.
yes.
So it is massive. I think sometimes you can kind of lose sight of what these things mean.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever realized that when it was the ceremony, nobody tells you that nobody told us that we had a prize or anything. You just go and sit. They tell you sit there, stand up, sit back, and then so it was very kind of sequenced, and we had something like suspicion that something interested the group, but never ever were we thinking that we won anything. So we went through a long due diligence period, and we thought a big group like LVMH, they want to know who they are working with. And I remember the day of the ceremony, I thought, let me wear something that is from the group so that I get attention.
Strategic, always strategic.
Yes, always strategic. So I thought, let me get dressed in an iconic outfit.
Yes,
so
and it is iconic.
They will see me among the crowd.
Yes.
And little did I know that I needed to be on stage, or even there was some
that moment, that picture will be taken and will forever be the main picture people will see of you.
And, something something happened to me
there's an intuition that sometimes we don't know, but you know.
No, I didn't know, like, for sure. I actually thought, let me just, so that I can get the brand team to meet me and discuss with me. But yeah, it's so looking back at it, it's so silly. But yeah, so we won the grand prize, and it was just day and night after that, because all of the discussions we had with brands prior to that day were a little bit unfertile. They were like fruitless. As soon as we won the prize, the same hour, all of those brands came to our booth to discuss and show interest.
Yeah,
that was incredibly and
so rewarding.
Yeah,
like all of those years and hours of hard work finally paying off.
Not just that, but also having one of the most respected entrepreneur in the world, in the globe, telling people this is the way forward.
Yeah.
And me carrying that message was I was never think about it. Never.
So how did you receive that? How did you feel the weight of that responsibility all of a sudden?
We were very humbled because we went back home and we had to take care of the kids. So it was back to reality quite quickly. And what I also told Mahdi is, this is a great wave, but it can turn into a tsunami that can kill us. And soon after, what we really wanted to do is go explore all the behind the scene, and that also kind of grounded us in understanding there is a lot of hard work. The prize is just the beginning. The prize is just one door that has opened. And it wasn't any door, but still, it's the biggest work was just starting.
I like your metaphor of the wave because okay, it's a wave. You have to ride it. You're gonna ride it. You have to ride it well. If not, you're gonna crash.
Exactly.
So
you can drone, and
being grounded and humbled from day one is so important.
And that's one other challenge for a founder is to stabilize the ups and downs, because it can get really high, and sometimes things can feel really, really low, and so being able to just carry and being stable is one of the biggest challenge sometimes you get excited, but
Yeah.
then sometimes same day or next day you get
Yeah.
something you weren't expecting. So you have to be resilient in
Yeah.
managing
Yeah.
the ups and the downs.
And blocking out that noise, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
You're the stability, you're the
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another big responsibility is as a CEO.
So now I want to talk a little bit about the state of the industry right now when it comes to care and repair. Like, I'm sure you're sitting on so much data, knowledge. Can you tell me a little bit, like, what are the numbers telling us? What's the story right now?
The story tells us that a lot of brands has been trying to compete with ultra fast fashion models where there is a new collection, where there is high volumes, and so often they compromise on the quality of the items that are being sold, and that takes care and repair in a place where it's not just a fancy thing or something on the side that you as a brand can provide. It becomes part of your business or part of how you are a sustainable business from a financial and operational point of view,
Also,
not just ecological. And that's where I see care and repair. It's mostly a way to support customer loyalty and support as well those fixing those fragments and fixing those sometimes
like gaps.
fractures in the operation side. And the numbers are quite loud. I can't really say who are the brands, but behind the scene. But some brands have stocks that is lingering and that's become costly because of defective, because a button is missing, or because of silly things, and that weighs a lot on them.
And we're talking about luxury brands.
Not just luxury,
no,
all of
all
them.
Brands,
all brands. All brands benefit from a carefully integrated care and repair strategy, not just to tick a box or being regular, like complying with regulations. It's mostly to review their businesses and their financial sustainability.
And I really like the term financial sustainability, but not just the term, but also what it means.
Exactly.
Because we've seen so many, I mean, you know, when you work in any industry, there's so many stories of how companies are not being conscious with their financials.
I know, and there's a lot of hype when you spend so much on marketing and customer acquisition, but then when it comes to retention of these customers, and sometimes it's retention for future collections, but sometimes it's an unhappy customer because we didn't meet a need that they had on after sales.
An actual need, like a real need of a high value customer.
Exactly, and that's a shame to miss on that opportunity and to have to spend even more in order to gain them back. And so I feel like when you build an integrated care and repair, or even after sales in general, the way you communicate about your consumers, the way you reward them, your customers, the way you reward them for their loyalty through those added value services, I feel like it can be a game changer. And a way as well for brands to reconnect with existing customers.
I mean, honestly, I couldn't agree more. And it's good to hear that brands are now coming on board with this.
Still some time, but at least we are in the very early stages, and we are positioning ourselves in this early, so we capture a large opportunity.
And so what are some of the relationships that you have, that you were able to develop with some of your biggest brands partners? And also, like, what do you see the future now from this point onwards?
Oh, I love this question. So we have really nice partnerships with Mage, Sandro, Loro Piana, Bicester Village in the UK. And in the future, the way I see it is that your product is not just a product, is a link between you and your brand, and a link that can foster several point of contacts, and not just when you wear them. Your brand is here, the brand that you love, and that for like there is so many consumers that have a specific attachment to a brand because of the values, because of what they represent, and so we move from a product, physical product, into a world where you can experience more things through those products that you've bought. So, and that's where after sales can become even bigger than the sale itself. Yeah. So, where you invest in your customer as much as they invest in buying your products.
Yeah.
And that's what excites me the most.
And you know, it makes so much sense because as you were saying that, it goes back to the point around retention. You know, at a certain point, it's not about getting more customers. You know, maybe you will even max out your potential of how many customers you can reach.
Yeah.
And then it forces brands to look inward and foster the relationships with the customers that they do have.
And also the danger of not knowing your customers and to branch out to... so I like aspirational customers. I think they are incredible people that love the brand for what it represents. But at the same time, sometimes when you lose your identity as a brand and what is that you are trying to sell, then it's hard to catch up with those losses.
It can be very damaging for the brand.
It can be, exactly.
It's happened. We've seen it happen so many times.
Totally, and it's that brand equity dilution that we are talking about, and by fostering those conversations beyond purchase, and where you're not just solicited when there is a new collection or when there is a small gathering event dinner. You are rewarded as a customer because you like the brand, you like the values of it, but also you align with where the brand wants to go
in the long term.
In the long term, exactly, because the fashion and luxury industry is a long-term game. Some brands are 300 years old or sometimes more, and so the scale of time is completely different.
So speaking of the scale of time, what about the future of Save Your Wardrobe? What's next?
Oh, wow. We are cooking some very, very exciting stuff, of course, based on AI. It's something that we've identified 3 years ago, and we are showing incredible results. And I feel that's extremely important because it solves a pain point in bottlenecks. So not knowing how to repair things, not knowing what is repairable from what is not. And because of that loss in education and loss in, it's things that are lost. So thanks to technology, we are able to bring them back and also involve what I call the unsung heroes of the fashion industry, so the craftspeople. And so I'm really excited to start launching this particular feature, and then exploring new territories as well, going out of fashion, textiles, and looking at other industries. I'm super excited about that as well. So we'll see where it takes us.
I love that we went full circle and we landed at how AI is gonna bring us back to the craftsmanship. Reminds me of the story of your grandmother.
I know.
And again, I think it's just so beautiful when sometimes you realize that like tech, even AI, more so AI, is actually helping connect to some things that we've lost touch with in a way. It's not always what people perceive it to be, like an evil that's disconnecting us. It can be used to reconnect, actually.
There is a purpose behind it, and it's not just tech for the sake of tech. And it's our compass. The mission is our compass. So making sure that it's a healthy industry and removing all the vulnerabilities, all the fractures, and create a virtual circle where all the stakeholders communicate with each other and also are fully equipped or empowered with information and data to make decisions.
The right decisions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harriet.
For trusting me with your story.
No worries.
It means a lot.
Thank you for having me.